All-Pro in every season. From 2016 to 2020, didn't play, or played just a little tiny bit last year. Kimberly, what more information do you have on the Bakhtiari front?
So this is encouraging news, but David Bakhtiari, you just said it, Dan. It's almost been 600 days since he injured his knee, right? So it's very ambitious of him to want to play in week one. Matt LaFleur, the head coach, said, he's not going to commit to week one, definitely. The plan right now is to ease him back into practice. Like, let him get his feet under him a little bit before you start thinking about which game to deploy him in. But if you are a Packers fan, if you're a fan of football, like, the idea that Bakhtiari is just off of PUP is huge because of what he means to Aaron Rodgers.
Swagoo, they won 13 games last year, basically without him. But if he's back, what does that mean for Rodgers and the Packers?
Hey, listen, man, make no mistake about it. David Bakhtiari is elite. He's an elite tackle in the NFL. And you very rarely can find one to go on any team, and having him back is huge. I think it's more important this year, though, and I get it that Aaron Rodgers has had a tremendous amount of success without Bakhtiari, but we heard Aaron Rodgers a week ago talking about trying to get on the same page with some of these young receivers. You know what that takes? Time. Yep. It takes time and it takes development. And obviously, you feel like Green Bay will be fine because 12 is the quarterback, and they have been. But this is a different situation that we've seen Green Bay in for the last 4 or 5 years without Devontae being out there, without that built-in rapport that they have before they step foot in the training camp. So to have not only a veteran presence, but a guy that's going to give you a little extra time when you're trying to get on the same page with some of these receivers, especially when the live games start, it's huge for this organization.
Sacho, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Swagoo. I played against Bakhtiari a couple times throughout my career. He is one of the most elite, top tier, however you want to call it, left tackle, offensive lineman in the game. But it's really hard for me. So all that being said, it's just hard for me to ignore how Aaron Rodgers went 13-4 last year without him. Right, it's hard for me to ignore how well Nyman played, how well Elton Jenkins played. Even the year before, Elton Jenkins was on the Pro Bowl, right? I get it was at guard, but for whatever reason, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers continue to have success even without, whether it be Bakhtiari or even when Devontae Adams has been out. For whatever reason, that success remains. And so Swagoo makes a good point in that these young receivers need to step up, and you never say no to an elite person, elite tackle. But I have just seen the success so often, it's hard for me to just sit here and say, well, without Bakhtiari, Aaron Rodgers is not going to be successful. I don't believe that.
I mean, fair enough, but look, we were talking about the Bucs earlier, right? And the injuries on the offensive line. I mean, it gets to be a point where the numbers matter, right? I mean, if somebody else is probably going to get hurt this year, and if Bakhtiari's back, Sacha, that matters, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's another thing we didn't talk about. Elton Jenkins just got off the PUP as well, right? Christian Watson, one of the young receivers who has been injured, he got off the PUP too, and so they're getting back healthy at the right time. Hopefully, as Kmart said, this will be a long-term solution, not just a temporary, hey, do individual drills and have another setback for Bakhtiari.
All right, Packers open the season September 11th against the Vikings in Minnesota. We'll see if David Bakhtiari is at left tackle for that game or if he needs a little more time than that. Now we want to do a segment called Change My Mind. I am going to tell you something, and you're going to have to change my mind about it. It's something I believe. But we'll set this up. Jalen Hurts did not play in the Eagles' second preseason game against the Browns. Eagles are trying to they're trying to win the NFC East for the first time in a couple of years. They won it in 2019. So here's what I'm going to tell you, and you guys try to change my mind on this, right? I believe the Eagles will win the NFC East. I think the Cowboys are shakier than they've been in a while on the offensive line. We know they've lost shakier than they've been in a while on the offensive line. We know they've lost some talent at receiver. And most importantly, Swagoo, it has been 18 years since anyone repeated as NFC East champion. I believe very deeply that this is a real thing and will continue. So, Swagoo, you go first. Change my mind. Eagles will win the NFC East.
I hate when y'all bring me on this show to set me up.
It's
always a setup with y'all. Every time the Cowboys come up. Listen, here's the reason I'm gonna try to change your mind. And look, this is not. I'm not putting this in stone because I got to make a confession. I'll get up this morning, but to my man Dan
we
Graziano.
back at church.
Graziano, Kmart, and Sam Macho. I'm nervous as hell, y'all. I'm scared. I mean, I'm gonna just say it. I'm scared. Like I'm scared. My wife's scared because she know what I'm gonna go through during the season if the Cowboys ain't good. Everybody around me is scared. All the people that's close to me. So I would hope that you guys would at least have my back if this thing turns into a mess. But here's what I'll say when it comes to the Cowboys and winning this division. And the only hat that you can hang is that Dak Prescott is the quarterback. And listen, I know that that's not saying a lot because this Philly roster is better than any roster in the NFC East. And it's all predicated on how Jalen Hurts performs. We all know that. We'll say that ad nauseum until these actual games start. But I've heard and I've talked to people that said Dak is uber focused, that this has been his best training camp. He's fully healthy. And CeeDee Lamb is going to surprise this league with his success. But it's all determined by this offensive line. And that's why I can't be bullish on the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not worried about their defense. I think their defense can be actually at the same type of level that they were at last year. This offensive line is the biggest question mark. And we all know in this league, this very unforgiving league, if your offensive line doesn't gel and play well, I don't care who your skill position players are. Don't matter who your quarterback is, you're not going to have a tremendous amount of success. But I'm going to go with the Cowboys because I'm praying to the Lord himself that this offensive line is solid.
Sacho, he did not
Thank you
change
guys
my
for
mind.
listening.
Can you? No?
Graz, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm gonna try and change your mind for a different reason. I'm gonna go Cowboys. Hopefully, Swagoo, this gives you a little bit of ease. Not because of Dak. I'm going Cowboys because of their defense. And the reason why I say that, this is Dan Quinn's second year. Dan Quinn's second year.
Okay.
So like last year, they were 7th in points. They were all over the field. I get it. They lost a couple pieces. But this defense will now understand better what Dan Quinn is trying to accomplish. Right, Micah Parsons will be a better football player this year than he was last year. DeMarcus Lawrence back healthy. Yeah, you may not get all the interceptions, the turnovers that you saw, but we also saw Jalen Hurts in the playoff game struggle against Tampa Bay's defense. I don't know if the Cowboys' defense will be as dominant as Tampa Bay historically has been. At least Todd Bowles' defense have been. But I think year two, Dan Quinn, understanding the system, that defense is the reason that part of the reason the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East.
So,
A
Marcus.
little more definitive than Swagoo, but Kimberly, what do you got? Can you change my mind?
Come on, Kmart. Come on.
Marcus, you want me to walk by
gonna do
faith,
it.
not by sight. And what my sight is telling me
That's what the Bible tells us.
is that this Eagles roster is pretty damn good. You brought up the offensive line. You brought up the offensive line as an issue. Who has a really good offensive line, my friend? The Eagles.
The Eagles.
Oh, boy.
But you have to hang your head on the QB. We have talked about the teams that we think will be there in the end in these playoff races. It's the teams that have the answer at QB. So, if there is one reason to feel good about the Cowboys,
Come on, Kim.
it is Dak.
Come on.
But is that enough to change Dan's mind, sir? I don't know. I'm
It's
trying to
not.
walk by faith,
It's
not
not.
by sight, but I don't know, Marcus. You're not giving me much to
It's
go
not.
by. You're really not.
You're all forgetting the critical point. Hembo sent me a text. The 17-season streak without a repeat champion is the longest for any division in NFL history and the longest current such streak in any of the 4 major American sports. It is not nothing. We come back, though. We're going to talk about Tom Brady some more.